the JSN erasure, like how they were able to do that. How did you see that work?
Yeah, they got a hell of a player in Christian Gonzalez. Like they weren't out there just double teaming Jackson Smith-Njigba and taking him away in the Bill Belichick days where they would put, when I was there, myself on the best wide receiver and Dev would come over the top and we double team him and Gilmore would sometimes go cover the other guy. Same thing they did with Darrelle Revis. I think at the end of the second quarter was a prime example. The pass breakup he had backside, he is one-on-one with Jackson Smith-Njigba, and the rest of the DBs are all on the other side of the hash, and he's able to make a key play for them. Now, JSN also left the game. They had to be evaluated for a concussion. And that also wasn't Seattle's game plan. Like, they didn't think they were going to come out here, as you're seeing that play by Gonzo right there. Like, that's an unbelievable pass breakup when he is all by himself against the best player on their team. They didn't come in with the thought process of, we're going to attack them down the field and kill them. They were able to run the ball with Kenneth Walker and sustain drives. But I think if you're a New England Patriots fan, you look at that game defensively. Milton Williams was everywhere. He missed a few sacks, but he was all over the field. Craig Woodson, the rookie safety you have, unbelievable from back end to front end in the run game, all over the football field. And then Christian Gonzalez in the back end made play after play. So that defense, they played their butts off and they held strong for as long as they possibly could. But Seattle going into that game, everybody knew they were the better football team, the more complete football team. And if they didn't make a mistake, it was going to be hard for New England to win. They fought, but man, Seattle, that's one hell of a football team.
That the first PBU by Christian reminded me of you in '53. Did you? Yeah, see, didn't it? I was like, okay, shades of Jason McCourty, right?
Hey, he's a little bit of a better player than I was, but love watching him play, man. This is fantastic, like over the top. This is a great read by Sam Darnold to throw that ball one-on-one with their deep threat and Rashid Shaheed. But Gonzo went up there to the top floor and made a play. And that's what the Super Bowl is all about. Can your best players play their best in these moments? That's who's going to win the football game. Kenneth Walker was his absolute best in that game, and that's what helped propel them. That Seattle defense, you can go through it man for man, and they were at their absolute best in that game, and that's why they won. I would have liked to see some of the New England Patriots offensive guys. I'd like to see Diggs get a few more targets at him to see what he could do in a game like that, but it wasn't there for them.
Murph on Twitter wants to know, why wasn't Witherspoon the MVP? He's the defensive MVP in Jason's eyes. We've been over that. Kenneth Walker definitely deserved it for that performance. And Craig Muller, this is a tough one. How do you fix the O-line? Poor Drake. Are we moving Will Campbell somewhere on that line? What are we doing?
So my thing is, like, take a deep breath. Like, there was an entire season. You don't make it all off of just the playoffs. Will Campbell got hurt in the middle of this season. Remember, he was out for a while. He came back. When he came back, it wasn't pretty. But also remember, Will Campbell and Jarrett Wilson are both rookies. Like, these guys, their entire rookie year to play as long as they did throughout the course, to make it all the way to the Super Bowl, it was a lot to ask of those guys. So is there a chance that Will Campbell moves? Maybe. Jarrett Wilson, throughout the preseason, he was a center, a guard. He has that versatility. Could he move to center, depending upon with Bradbury, what happens? Man, there's a lot of different things that can happen up front for them on the offensive.
Should he move to guard? Should he move to guard?
Potentially, yes. And a lot of your offensive line depends upon who do you have. Like, do you have a better tackle? Because you got to remember, for New England, what their offensive line was last year was atrocious. So what they were this year was leaps and bounds better than what they were a year ago. So yes, you can move Will Campbell to guard, and maybe he should. But in order to move him to guard, you have to have a tackle that is better than him at protecting the quarterback's blind side. So you can say what you want about Will Campbell and how bad of a performance he had in the Super Bowl and throughout the course of the playoffs. But if you don't have anyone better than him, you have to play him at left tackle.
And take a breath, everybody. And he, coming off IR, never really he needs an off season. I don't think, I like that you said that. I feel like he had not looked the same or to his potential, and maybe some rest, the rest will help that, right? Hopefully.
No doubt about it.
Because he was playing much better before that. So calm down. Jason knows the Patriot fan. Everyone needs to relax. I don't know. You're just defeated. There's nothing the Patriots could do. Like, there's nothing they could do.
That was the part that I was disappointed. I expected a little bit more from them from a standpoint of they went six offensive linemen one time in a game. It was a 20-yard gain. I expected to see some screens. What I would say I was most disappointed as being around Josh McDaniels, it seemed like every game he always had a trick play up his sleeve that was going to work. Whether it was a flea flicker against the Broncos, they threw one back to Drake Maye against the Chargers that just missed off a poor throw by Efton Chisholm. So I was expecting and waiting for them to empty the bag with everything that they had gone over all season long. After probably that first quarter, beginning of the second quarter, you could see that it was going to be really hard for them to get any production going. And they never got aggressive. There wasn't any no huddle early on in the game to
I
try to
know
speed up the
why.
tempo.
Why? Were they
From a
scared
standpoint
of
of
the shoulder thing?
no, the shoulder for me was nothing. Like you get shot up, the medicine, like you play through it, you don't think about that. I think maybe from a game plan standpoint, above McDaniels, Vrabel might have looked at this as they were only giving up field goals. Let's not go crazy. Let's keep this game close. And maybe they were banking on Sam Darnold to make a crucial mistake and them to take advantage of it
Yeah.
and try to win the game that way. So keep it close and wait for them to make a mistake, opposed to us getting too aggressive and making a mistake on our end. But to me, you don't win a Super Bowl that way. You got to go out there, you got to attack, and you got to be aggressive.
It was giving Super Bowl 53 Rams, where Sean, all season, aggressive, creative, intense, went up to Belichick. We have the footage, and he's like, "Nice to meet you." And then I was like, "Oh, this is over." Like, and he got. I mean, where was that aggressiveness that got him there? That staple, the tempo was missing. And I'm not saying that like Vrabel, but like got scared, but like something. It was giving that like, where's the thing that got you here?
Yeah, and I think sometimes for these offensive coaches, you have a plan. You're setting things up, and you see the game unfolding one way. And all right, I'm going to run these course of plays to later be able to attack them with these plays. But when that first set of plays are getting absolutely dominated, you're looking at that call sheet and you're running down. You're like, I don't know what the heck to call. You talked about Super Bowl 53. I think for McVay, he was going in and he expected us to do one thing, and we did a different thing. He was expecting us to go man to man as we had done the last half of the season and the first two playoff games, and we didn't do that. We switched it up. So I think it was something completely different that threw him off, that he wasn't able to adjust. What was disappointing about last night was Seattle just did what they had done all season long. A lot of the two high safeties, now they dropped down a little bit more than they typically had done in the playoffs, but still, it was the Seattle defense that we had seen and loved. So I expected to see a little bit more from McDaniels in this offense to try to help and get things going when early on they couldn't find a groove of any form or fashion. But I'll say, when you're getting beat up front, it's very hard to call a game. It's hard to come up with things to do. And then Drake Maye was also off. On the times that they did have guys open, he missed on a lot of those throws. And I think that's what happens when your quarterback gets hit early. It speeds everything up for him, and he's kind of playing rush. And that's what it looked like last night for the Patriots on the offensive side of the ball.
He looked like everything was too. It was like it felt like this is like ages me. Like I Love Lucy. I'm picturing her like with she's working at a factory and it's assembly line and it's like a bit and everything's coming too fast. Everything's speeded up and she can't keep going. I felt like that was Drake May last night. Like everything was in 3x speed.
I
And
love
that
all the I love all the kids right now going on Googling I Love Lucy. Like what the hell is Kay Adams talking about? I've never heard of this show.
all the cool kids are watching I Love Lucy, Gen Z, like sure. I'm a sick pup in the way of I'm like, I woke up this morning, I think you heard a little of this with me and Hamilton in the break. I was like, what do I do with the Patriots going into next year? What are they contenders? What kind of move? And I'm looking at like, of course, like the sick pups over at FanDuel, all the sports books, of course, have the odds already. So let's take a look at maybe just the Super Bowl odds. So they have does Seattle belong at the top, in your opinion, in any other way than they just won the Super Bowl? Going into next year, obviously no moves have been made. We've got big pieces potentially with trade, free agency, the draft, of course. And then the Chiefs aren't even on here. They're way down the line.
Yeah.
Is this how you see this? And where do those Patriots belong?
I like this. I think Seattle and the Rams were the best teams throughout the season, and we continue to say that. The NFC Championship game, I think, proved that. Watching those two teams out there on the field, obviously, you look at Baltimore and Buffalo. Both teams have brand new head coaches. You don't know exactly what that's going to look like. Obviously, both those teams have a ton of talent. when it comes to New England, the challenge is going to be is they had an easy schedule this year, and I wasn't one of those people that held that against them this year. I don't care what your schedule is. You have to go out there and you have to win a game every single week, and they did that. They won a ton of games, lost to the Raiders, lost to the Steelers on games that they could have won those games as well. So you have to take advantage of whatever's in front of you. But you can't ignore the fact that the road's going to be tougher next year, and there's no guarantee that you're going to get back there. So I think to your point, what are the moves that they make that they feel this team needs to improve on? There's going to be guys that are free agents that they're going to have to make decisions on for their future. But for your second year quarterback to make the jump that he made to be an MVP candidate, now you go out there and you have the performance that they had at the biggest stage. How do you respond to that? How are you going to be in OTAs? How hungry are you going to be? Are you going to make excuses for it? Or are you going to get back to? So I think that's the key thing. I heard you mention Joe Burrow. People talked about Dan Marino. He made it to the Super Bowl. He never made it back. So you can't take for granted that you're just going to get there and we're ahead of schedule. I hate when people say we're ahead of schedule. Like there is no schedule to get to the Super Bowl. There's no guarantee that because you build a team, you're going to get there. When you get there, you have to take advantage of it. And they didn't last night.
Yeah, I mean, and Joe is a better quarterback than Drake, straight up. That's not like a dramatic thing to say. So it's they've
Yeah.
got to figure it out. Short break here, Jason. It's like it's such an you're amazing. Thank you for being here with us. You take a little bit of a break, get some water. We're gonna have a couple more questions from Twitter. I want to get into Drake May. I do want to ask about Drake May. I think straight up for Patriot fans, how much of this was on Drake? We've talked about the Josh no trick play. We talked about the Vrabel part. Drake May, as far as how much was on him getting hit so much with the pressure. What's on Drake here?
Yeah. There were throws that I felt like in the course of that game where he missed, and I was probably about five throws. But overall, when you watch that game, a lot of that to me fell on the coaches and game plan oriented because they couldn't do anything. They couldn't run the football. Drake May didn't have much time when he was back there dropping back. There weren't guys open. So you look at the course of that game, and I think even bigger than that, they just didn't look like they tried a bunch of things. And I think that's what was when you look at the coaching versus playing, it's just like when you're out there, and I've been in games defensively where you feel like you just can't stop the offense. And I could feel from my play caller while I was out there on the field because it was like we were one zone, we were one man, we would blitz everybody, we would drop everybody, and we'd get to the sideline. I'm like, damn, coach is calling everything. Like we got to do something about it. And it felt like last night as you watched the game, like they didn't call everything. Now I'm assuming there's reasons for that. It's easy for me to watch the game and say, oh, well, why didn't you run a screen? Why didn't you run a trick play? Why didn't you spread them out? Why didn't you do more six offensive linemen? Like, yeah, from my lens, I'm not, and due to studying that McDaniels and the offensive staff did, but watching it, it felt like Drake May needed a lot more help from the sidelines than what he got in that game. But I don't want to dismiss the fact that Drake he missed quite a bit of throws in that game. And even when he had time, he looked like he was rushed. Then there were moments where there were lanes that he could have took off and used his legs more. He didn't do that. But when you come out and you get punched in the mouth the way they did, you get flustered. And that's what the game looked like throughout majority of it. When you don't score a point through three quarters, I mean, there's enough blame to go around for every coach and player that's on the offensive side of the ball.
How do you think this will affect him?
From everything that you read and the times that I've been around Drake May, I gotta believe that he has shown us that he has made of all of the right things that you need to bounce back off of a performance like this. I think nothing more important than being the youngest of four brothers. That all of them are athletes. Dad was an athlete. Mom, like their entire family. I feel like when you've done this a lot, like you're used to adversity happening and having to overcome it. Yes, is this the biggest stage you've ever played on and you've fallen short? Absolutely. But I feel like Drake May has the ingredients, the makeup, the intangibles to be able to bounce back. I believe he'll be the guy throughout the course of this offseason, calling up the receiver saying, hey, meet me here. We're going to go work and we're going to get these things done. He's going to be the guy calling Josh McDaniels this week or next week to figure out exactly what went wrong, to try to make the corrections to get better a year from now. So if you're a Pats fan, you gotta believe that Drake May, you drafted the right guy from what he's shown you so far, that he's gonna bounce back and he's gonna continue his ascension to be one of the best quarterbacks in this league of what he showed us this past season.
What do you think Tom Brady was thinking watching this game?
That's a loaded question. I think Tom was thinking, I don't have a dog in the fight, so I'm just watching this. I'm just smiling. I'm just having a good time. I don't know. I gotta believe for Tom, like the relationship he has with the Kraft family, like you hurt a little bit for those guys. You want to see them victorious. On the other side, Tom's a owner of another franchise. So the other side of him got to be like an AFC opponent just lost the Super Bowl. I don't care. Like I'm trying to build this
Yeah.
thing up, and I'm watching my future head coach Kubiak out there calling the
That's
game.
more of what I was asking. Like he kind of won last night because everyone, Josh McDaniels, the offensive, like I don't know, there's no challenge. I don't know. There's something about that, and then there's the fact that he's getting the offensive genius as his guy. He's kind of winning.
Yes, and he did it. You think about it, what Darnold was able to do throughout the course of this entire season, and that wasn't a great performance. But you also got to remember the Patriots are a top five defense as well. So Kubiak being able to game plan guys wide open, like those are the things that if you're Brady, you're looking at, you're like, see, that's what we want. That's what we need for Mendoza. We need a guy that's going to come in here and design things for Brock Bowers to be wide open, design a run game for Ashton Genty not to get hit the most of any running back in the NFL behind the line of scrimmage. That's what we need. I can sell Las Vegas fans that Kubiak is going to be the guy to get us to the promised land.
Yeah, no competition to his legacy there in New England. Jason McCourty, you're a legend. I appreciate you so much, really, for you to spend the entire hour with me breaking down this game, guys. Follow Mr. Jason McCourty, of course, on socials
I
for
need
more.
some of those ones you were flashing on your way into the
Listen,
stadium.
I gave them all away. I was like, what am I supposed? Can you imagine $1,000 in ones me bringing it to the stadium? Can you imagine? I didn't even have a purse. I just gave it all away.
When
Women
I
of the
first saw it, I was like, where did Kay get all these ones from? What was she doing the night before the Super Bowl?
No, I only go to strip clubs in Green Bay called Oval Office, Jason. Everyone knows this. Okay, you're the best. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you so much. Enjoy and we're great, but London's the star. London
I
is the
know.
star for the Cordy family. That's what I have to say. We'll be back after this excellent work. Really thank you.